I was serving in Malaysia, which is the other country within the Singapore mission, and we lived kind of by a bridge, and we were walking to the like train station, like their little train station that they have or subway, and it was raining super hard. Like, and when it rains in Malaysia, it rains, and so we were walking and we were like walking across like this underpass or like where the water like or where the river is, and it started filling up, and we stayed probably 5 minutes to watch it fill up, and it rose about probably like 10 to 12 feet within that 5 minutes. And it's just crazy when it rains and you don't want to get caught in the rain at all.
So I spent a sizable chunk of my mission in a biking area, about 6 months, and then I walked for the rest of the time. And the craziest weather is really just rain. It rains a lot. It really does. But when it rains, it pours. And so it'll just pour and pour and pour. And if you're riding a bike, sometimes that's okay unless it floods. And there were definitely times when I was riding up to my bike tires, like the top of them, in water. And it gets kind of scary, but you really don't want to put your feet in because it's kind of gross. But it's not super crazy other than, especially in East Malaysia, you'll have to go to members' houses, and sometimes the members' homes will be flooded over. And sometimes, nicer homes will be flooded over too. But really the rain is the craziest thing other than maybe the heat. It is super, super hot for most of the year, especially during the dry season. But during the wet season, it can actually get kind of chilly.
You are either wet from sweat or you're wet from the rain. You're never dry, which, does wonders for your skin, but you just have to get used to that. The humidity is unbelievable there. You're right on the equator in most of your areas. Whatever time you can escape into a building and get some aircon, that's what you want to do. But yeah, you have crazy, crazy storms. Rain just comes out of nowhere. It's super hot. And then, floods that go, as high as you can imagine. Just rain more powerful than you ever imagined as well, too. Something you've never seen before.
When you go to Singapore and Malaysia, the first thing that you're going to notice is that the weather is like completely different from most weather in the United States. It is humid in the United States in some places, but it's just another level there. It's always hot, it's always humid. It rains all the time. You'll basically be wet for 2 years.
The craziest thing is just the rain. It rains super hard. Can get windy too. It's nice because as a missionary you can't swim, but when it rains hard and you're riding your bike hard, you'll get sweaty and wet. Other than that, you'll just be sweaty all the time.
You'll get like really rainy days where you can't really go out because there's not going to be anyone outside. And you'll just have to stay inside. But the craziest thing that happens weather-wise is that sometimes in the fall, Indonesia like burns their trash. I'm not sure if this still happens, but Indonesia burns their trash, and all that smoke drifts over to Malaysia, which is where you serve a lot of the time in the Singapore mission, if you're a regular missionary. But because all that smoke comes over, it's incredibly hot. You'll get headaches, and the sunrises look nicer because of the pollution, but there's always a lot of smoke in the air.
So I remember landing there after having finished up our time at the MTC, and I remember getting out of the plane and just immediately my clothes sticking to my body. I come from Las Vegas, and so it's a very dry environment. And so to be in a place that humid was really shocking at first. But yeah, it's just something you got to get used to. It will be like 80 to 90% humid the whole year round, and it rains just about every day. So there was not a day or a moment in my mission that I wasn't feeling like moist at all. And so it was uncomfortable at first, but definitely something you can get used to, and it'll all work out.
Singapore and Malaysia is very hot and humid, but you'll come to love it and enjoy it. The very first time I stepped off the plane, I was like, holy cow, this is really hot, really humid. You just kind of feel sticky all the time. After a while, you get adjusted to it, and missionaries you don't stop for anything, so you just keep biking and sweating a whole lot. There were times we'd sweat because it'd be so hot, and then it'd rain that night, and it's like a natural shower. So there you go, because you bike in the rain as well, and you just get soaked. Then you get home, and you're like, wow, I could have showered with my clothes on, and it'd be the same. But all in all, it's really beautiful, actually. The rainstorms actually come down in sheets of rain, and the heat is just hot, but you don't get sunburned too bad most of the time.
I think some of the craziest weather on my mission came probably during my second transfer, so when I was still training. And I just remember this one week I was just feeling like really down, and we hadn't found anyone like all day, and it was a Sunday, and we just ate dinner at this member's house, and we're gonna go back to report because my trainer is the district leader. And we get outside, and there's like super strong winds just coming out of nowhere, just kind of like pushing things over and like getting like the tin off the roofing and stuff. But we were just like, no, we got to get home on time for reporting. So we just booked it down, and it started raining. And like, it's like the closest thing you're going to get to swimming on your mission. It was monsoon rain, so it was just coming down, just pouring while I was on my bike. And I just remember I felt good because I was like, man, God is just washing away this bad week and this bad day, and it was awesome. I just felt like awesome.